I'm Justin Hinton. Thank you for joining us for our series of panels on the election. We want to talk to different members of our community to hear what's important to them. So today we are at Potmaster in Chinatown talking to members of the AAPI community. So we want to start by introducing you to our panelists. So up first, we have Maya Kwong, the owner of Potmaster. So thank you for allowing us to be here. Up next, we have Daniel Lee. He's a UNLV student and a first-time voter. Up next, we have Mindy Lloyd. She is a community advocate. And lastly, but certainly not least, we have Johan Cezanne, advisor for the Filipino American Media Association of Nevada. If there was one thing that came out of this election, whether it's at the federal level or here locally, that would make you happy and say, yes, we got this done, what would that be for you?
Well, that would be representation. We wanted to be able to see more AAPI across the spectrum, from the biggest stage to our local stage. We wanted to be able to relate to our elected officials and them knowing our issues firsthand. So if we get more representation across the board, that'll be great.
For me, making our families, safer, secure, happy, and not suffering.
I would say stricter gun control laws, better background checks, and stricter regulations on assault rifle purchases.
I would say stronger economy, more tourists, happier customers.
Who's the restaurateur here in the group? As a business owner, trying to bring in a profit, but you also have employees who are trying to make a living as well.
Exactly.
How do you balance those two?
Our first and most important goal is to take care of our employees. So to protect their benefit, that's the most important task for us as business owners. And at the same time, we would really like to see some policies that would help us reduce inflation so that we can reduce cost. Doing our daily business so that we can protect ourselves as well.
What are you looking for in a candidate when it comes to gun laws and gun violence and keeping you safe? I mean, you're a student at UNLV. Were you there during the shooting on December?
Yeah, I was at my dorm. Ironically enough, I slept through the first bit of it. I just had a lot of homework the night before, but I woke up to a bunch of messages, some of my friends being scared during the whole event. And I think what I'm looking for in a president or just elected official in terms of gun control and gun laws is just common sense, just having a little bit more restrictive gun control laws. So I believe that having a weapon that's built to kill faster, kill more people faster, and allowing regular civilians to have those in their possession is kind of doesn't really make sense to me.
I respect all that. I respect every angle of gun control, pro and cons about it, and how people feel about it. For me as a woman, I advocate for so many women and families that when they are affected by trauma of rape, I understand their safety, wanting to have that. So there's a different angle for me. So, and a lot of families that want to protect their home,
You get it.
I get it. I understand it.
In terms of coverage of all these things that are in the Asian American Pacific Islander population, right? We do come across some stories in our media platform, no matter how small that story is. What we wanted to do in the minority media section is to be able to engage more people to tell their story and just to voice out, when we're new here in the States, we were told to be just, go with the flow, and maybe just don't tell your story. I mean, just, blend in. I really wanted to be able to see more minority communities, especially Asian communities, speaking up about, their opinions on things like gun control.
So Maya, for you, how do you get more members of your community to participate in the dialogue, to use the voice, especially when it comes to an election season?
I think the best way is to start from myself and start from a circle of influences. just lead by example and just influence more and more people.
Our AAPI, even though they are more involved now, being out there, and we're growing.
Especially in this region.
Oh yeah, but they like being around our own. Do you understand? They like being around our own. They like being around breaking bread, eating our same food. But when it comes to politics, they just still stay silent. You know, how do we get them to talk about the crimes that are being committed to them? How do we get them to be more proactive about the topics that Maya and Daniel or I or Johan talk about? Because we want to hear from them. And those are the ones that worry me, because they're not going to vote, even though we are the growing number.
Do you think members of your community recognize the political power that they have?
I think my community needs more education on how important they are and how important their voices are. And I think we need a leader on that.
I actually work for an organization, nonprofit organization called AAPI Nevada, where we do community engagement and civic outreach. So just canvassing and getting out there on the ground, just telling people how important it is to vote, telling people that, hey, you can vote, and letting them just understand that their vote counts, because I feel like a lot of our community feel as though they're less underrepresented and feel as if though their vote might not matter.
It's not that their vote matters. They need to understand that they matter. You know, and for some that I know, that they just sit there and go, oh, what's my vote? You know what I mean? But they don't understand the issues that come before us or after are the things that they could have helped speak up on.
In the past, maybe not as much, but I believe nowadays, with our population of our community growing even further and our voices being heard more, especially with the Asian hate happening and the Stop Asian Hate movement becoming large, I feel like our community is learning to, as we grow, that our voice matters and our voice can be heard nationally.
Is there an issue that you feel, obviously not being a monolith, that is more important or more, that's not talked about enough when it comes to the Asian American Pacific Islander community?
One thing that I think sets me apart from a larger group of and community of AAPI people is my view on educational equity. So I know the repeal of affirmative action was actually spearheaded by an Asian American groups and people, but I actually think that affirmative action can be helpful towards Asian Americans as well. We have some of the largest diversity in terms of class in the United States, so if you're an Asian American of lower class, you will get a better representation through affirmative action and better opportunities. So I feel as though educational equity and affirmative action can be helpful towards Asian Americans and is actually beneficial towards America as a whole.
Do you feel like there's enough representation when it comes to Asian Americans in office, in positions of power, to make some of those changes happen? I'll start with you.
Well, we are starting. You know, over the past few election cycles, we've seen a lot of AAPI and elected positions. So it's a great thing, you know. And now we see them in the Filipino community. We have Erica Mosca, you know, she goes to all of our events and everything like that. And it emboldens us to see somebody who looks like us, like out there in Carson City.
We need more. How about that?
With Kamala Harris in the election, I think that is a good inspiration for not only women but also AAPI communities to be more vocal, to be more involved.
Super exciting for me, at least maybe because I'm a younger generation, but I know historically AAPI community in the United States have been underrepresented in politics, but now looking at the big stage we've already had her as a vice president, now we're about to have an Asian American black woman as a president, hopefully. I don't know how anyone else here feels about that, but that's super exciting. I mean, that's you ask anybody how they feel about that. That's super exciting. It's super inspirational. If an Asian American black woman can get into office, what's stopping anybody else, right? It's not definitely not your ethnicity, definitely not your gender. So it's just super exciting, and any type of representation in office is good for the AAPI community. But having a president be an Asian American is definitely super Awesome.
I've learned a lot from talking to each and every one of you, and I really appreciate you participating in this panel. So, thank you.
Thank you.